Hello everyone and welcome to what appears to be the most eventful round of the FIDE Candidates Tournament 2022. It's Alireza Firouzja versus Rapport. Neither of them are having the tournament they were hoping for, but Rapport still having a bit of a better one. He did lose the game to Nepomniachtchi, but he did beat young Krzysztof Duda in the previous round, whereas Alireza only lost 2 games and all the other were drawn. He lost to Fabiano Caruana and Jan Nepomniachtchi, as Nepo pretty much defeated everyone in this tournament. And now both of them would very much enjoy a win in this game. So let's see what happened. Alireza has the white pieces and he opens with pawn to e4. We have e5 by Rapport, knight to f3, knight to c6, and the bishop to b5. And again we have the Berlin defense, knight to f6, and I'm not even gonna say it. We have d3 and the bishop to c5, and here Alireza just castles. In the game that we've discussed, or rather in the line that we've discussed in the previous video, where you had Rajabov and Nakamura, where they each played against each other either c3 or knight b to d2. Those are all very popular moves, but here we have just castles. Knight to d4 now, going for this rarish move, now just attacking the bishop, and we have a trade. Knight captures, bishop captures, and pawn to c3, chasing away the bishop, bishop to b6, and now knight to a3. This is how Alireza develops the knight. c6, chasing away the bishop, bishop a4, d6, and the bishop to b3. All been played before, nothing spectacular here. Queen to e7, and now knight to c4, putting pressure on the bishop here. And there is one game that reached this exact same position between Karyakin and Vidit from the 2017, or rather from the 2019 World Blitz Championship, where just bishop to c7 was played, and Vidit defeated Karyakin with this move. But here, instead of moving the bishop, we have just the bishop to g4, attacking the queen here, and it is now, as of move 11, that we have a completely new game. So queen to e1, Alireza sidesteps this, and now bishop to c5, keeping the bishop on this diagonal, not shifting it over to c7. We have king to h1, getting away from this diagonal. You want to be able to push f4, and now a5 by Rapport. We have f4, a4 attacking the bishop, and the bishop to c2. We have pawn to b5, and now not just f captures on e5, so you don't have time for this because e captures on f6, d captures, and now Alireza plays knight captures on e5. It's not a piece sacrifice, you will win it back after d4 is played, but still, it makes it a bit difficult for Rapport to castle the king to safety, as you'll see. So queen captures on e5, and now the immediate d4. You have to win the bishop back, but it also means destroying your own center. Bishop captures, c captures, and queen captures on d4. And here we have the amazing bishop to e3, where Alireza dares Rapport to capture on b2. Now the problem with such a dare is that it is the absolute strongest move recommended by the engine, just capturing the pawn on b2. But it also means that your king will stay in the center of the board for quite some time. So you have to weigh your options here. But it's not much better. If you just move the queen, we're gonna keep harassing you. For example, queen e5, bishop f4. Now you've just improved white's position, and the dare is still there, only not as good as it was a move ago. So here Rapport accepts the challenge. He plays queen captures on b2, and now we have queen to f2. A very, very tricky idea, because now if Rapport just castles, if you could castle, of course, that'd be great. You just grabbed some material, bishop d4, and basically you resign this. After you move the queen, we're gonna play queen h4. Now we're attacking the bishop, or rather threatening bishop captures, queen captures here. If the pawn moves, then we're also attacking h7. So there are so many threats here. Yeah, you don't even have to play it properly, most likely. So instead, after queen to f2, bishop back to e6, Rapport continues in the strongest possible way. And now bishop to d4. This is how we're still keeping the black king in the center of the board. Queen to b4, and now bishop to c5. And the black king is no longer leaving the center of the board. So it's a brave way to play, but I don't know. It'd be very difficult to talk me into doing something like this. You know, against someone of my own skill, I would prefer, you know, keep the pawn. I just want to have my king nicely castled. Or if, for example, if you knew the line extremely well, then of course you can play it. But okay, queen to c3, and now rook a to c1. Again, making it a bit of a problem to castle, because how do you actually castle here? Not kingside, of course. Kingside castling is impossible due to the bishop. But if you castle queenside, then there are many tactics here. Alireza can just play something like bishop a7. Now you prepare discoveries here. It's terrible position for black. Queen can come to b6. It's just super ugly. For example, queen e5. You can even play bishop b3. Such tricky moves are also possible. And if you capture queen b6, now threatening queen captures on c6, good luck defending this. So instead, rook to d8 by Rapport. Again, the absolute strongest move recommended by the engine. And now bishop b1, opening up an attack towards the queen. Queen e5, and now Alireza goes queen to h4. So what can Rapport do? He can't move the king, and it's a very tricky position. Basically, what you want to do is improve the position a little bit with some like rook to d7, and then start g5, attack the queen, put the rook on g8, or maybe just g5, h5, g4, start your attack, and keep the king in the center of the board. However, after bishop to c4, there is one move that Alireza can play that really just that gives him a winning position, and it's a tough one to accept, but it definitely is in the position. So feel free to pause the video and win this game for Alireza while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on spotting this tricky idea. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is rook to f5. That's the move, and this is, as Josh Waitzkin would say, the space left behind. The bishop was on e6 guarding the square. When he played bishop to c4 attacking the rook on f1, the f5 square became available for the white rook, and of course Alireza played it. We even have a nice photo before this moment. Whoops, that's not the one that I'm talking about. My bad. Just give me 1 second. This is the one from the previous video, but this is the one that I'm talking about. So you can see that's the position on the board, and rook to f5 can be played here. And that is, of course, what Alireza played. We can enjoy the photo for a few seconds as usual, but nothing out of the ordinary here, so we can focus on the game. So yeah, but also it's important to notice that Rapport is not wearing his salmon shirt, so that could also be a problem for him. But okay, queen to b2 now, getting the queen out of harm's way, and now comes rook to g1. Rook to e1 also is very strong. For some reason, Alireza plays rook to g1. But still, it's incredibly difficult to make moves for a Rapport. Here he plays bishop back to e6, attacks the rook. Now queen to g3, offering the rook for some queen captures on g7 action. Basically, if bishop captures, pawn captures, rook to e1 will just be deadly with the bishop controlling this diagonal. So you could play something like queen d2, but then we capture on g7, attack the rook, attack the knight, and of course black resigns. So here knight back to d7, attacking the bishop, and Alireza just plays bishop to d6. So now at some point, of course, we're going to also play e5, and you are asking, are you maybe interested in the rook now? But still, capturing the rook now, just he captures on f5, and your position did not improve. Still, the same threats are in the position. So what you could do here is just go back, knight to f6, try and attack the bishop this way, but even though this is clever, it would not be enough. Alireza can just attack the queen here, and after queen d4, bishop back to c5. Now the bishop is safe on a guarded square, and here, even after knight captures on e4, attacking Alireza's queen, we can just trade. Bishop captures, queen captures, and now rook e5, that's game. For example, queen g6 offers a queen trade, queen to c3, and you don't have a move. The other rook is also coming into the game, and there's no move you can make here with black. So it's just terrible. So after bishop to d6, queen to d4 was played instead, and now we have rook f back to f1, with the idea that if the knight moves, so we can attack the bishop with the rook and the queen, we just play rook to d1, and that will also be winning. So here Rapport says, all right, I have to start my kingside expansion, h5. Now comes e5. Now the bishop is on d6 for the rest of the game, basically. Queen to g4, offering a queen trade, just queen to e3. We have h4, h3, and now queen to h5, but it doesn't really do all that much for Rapport. Bishop to e4, and now we are going after the base of the pawn chain, and there's no good way for you to defend this. Queen to h6, Rapport offers a queen trade, but now queen to f3. We have f6 now, but now Alireza just starts gobbling up the pawns, and there's no way to prevent this. Bishop captures on c6, king to f7, we have bishop captures on b5, queen to h5 now, offering a trade. But still, queen e4, knight captures on e5, and now, okay, this knight captures on e5 comes with a little trick from Rapport, because if bishop captures, yes, there's all this f-file action here, but there is maybe rook d5 attacking the bishop and the bishop on b5, so it's still winning for white, but Alireza doesn't want to mess around with this. He just moves the bishop with tempo. Now you will not have this rook to d5 trick, and after the queen moved, he just played bishop captures on e5, and he was in this position on move 41 after reaching time control that Richard Rapport resigned the game, and Alireza gets his first victory in the classical in the FIDE Candidates Tournament 2022, or rather his first victory ever in a FIDE Candidates Tournament. Here you resign because, well, you're down a piece and you don't have any compensation for it. Of course, you can't capture back because the f-pawn is pinned, so that would be out of the question. So basically there's no move black can make here. So really a fine one, and it really seems like these round 9 games are nowhere near the quality of round 8 games, as they are, you know, so quick. Players just fall apart. But I guess that's why, probably because they got tired, and maybe from playing all of those exhausting games in round 8. But it's hard to say. Definitely so much happening in round 9, and we still haven't finished with everything that happened. So we're gonna discuss it a bit more, and then we are going to show the standings. So expect at least one more game. That's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Very nice for Alireza for getting his first victory, but tough for Rapport, who didn't manage to get maybe either another win or a draw. But that's how the Candidates Tournament works. Once again, hope you guys enjoyed it. I would like to thank Stephen McNeil, Bid Out Bid is the one, Daniel Schmidt, Ultimate Poker Coaching, and Mohamed Al Saban for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of the candidates until it finishes. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.